right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, in studio, joined by a special guest today, Lindsay Vastola. Welcome to the Built to Grow podcast. How are you?
Excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so brand new Iron Circle member. So you're in town real quick for a couple days, kind of deep dive on your business to see if we can extract the goodies and scale that thing.
Yes, sir.
So give everybody a quick background on you. I've known you for a long time. You've been in the industry. You were actually on our, if you don't remember, you probably do, on our 2020 virtual Growth Summit.
Yep.
Had 30 speakers. You were one of them, and you were talking signature programs back then.
Programs, yeah.
Is that what we're talking about today?
That's what we'll talk about today.
All right, give everybody a quick background.
Yeah, so quick background. Came from corporate New York City management and quickly realized I don't like working for anybody else.
Yeah.
So got into fitness, started at-home personal training, quickly grew my book of business, realized I was trading time for dollars, moved to, I teased that, boot camps before they were cool, scaled that to 3 locations, created a great community, opened up a studio space, had that studio space for about 9 years. Realized 9 years in, just, the business, it was just time for me to evolve. But the thing that was working was the signature program that we had created that really flipped the model, especially because when I started the studio, boutique studios, our competition was the big box gyms. And so then it became more complicated to differentiate. And so I had to go back to the drawing board. Obviously, what's going to change revenue, change our retention, keep that differentiating factor when the orange theories were popping up and, what makes us different. And that's where the signature program came into play.
Right. And so you ran the signature program, you created it from scratch. I'm sure you took some of the best practices of what people were doing out there, and you kind of bundled this up. And I love the name of it, but let's talk about that for a second. You called it the Body Project, which was great, but it also wasn't so great.
Yeah, this is important, I think, when we talk about, words matter, right? And especially when we're messaging them. And I think, so Body Project was my fitness business name. And it's obvious, right? Body Project, you're going for fitness. But what we were doing was, running those 30-day front-end offers, 28-day challenges, the 7-day trials. And it felt like a rat race. I felt like it wasn't predictable, right? There was no predictability for the business, and there was no predictability even for the consumer because they just see you running a bunch of stuff, and how is that differentiating you, right? So it was the Body Project, and it worked. So I went to the drawing board and I said, how can I create a meaningful program that also highlights, I call it like the chef's table. Like, how can we highlight everything, all the services that we have, fitness and non-fitness related, in this signature experience for current members, but also as kind of the signature, like the journey, the start of the journey for the client in. So it was the Body Project, but then I started getting approached by YMCAs, Fit Body Boot Camps, other gyms, because they said, started seeing, they said like, hey, can we implement this program? And what's nice, because it's not a prescriptive fitness or nutrition program, it just kind of attaches. So I said, there's something to this. How can I leverage this program? And that was really the catalyst. I said, once I'm the beyond fitness, right? Like I closed the square, the 4 square walls, but this was the thing then. But Body Project, to the name, what I found is once you start, because it's more of a mindset, wellness, habit change program, the minute I would say Body Project, instantaneously the consumer saying like, it must be a weight loss program, it's fitness, it's a prescriptive fitness program, it's meal plans, and it's not. And I was spending more time explaining what it wasn't in the sale instead of what it was. So that was when I again went back to the drawing board and said, what's the name it needs to be in order to communicate the promise? And that's where Momentum came from. Momentum,
right. So that's a new name. And what's cool about what you've kind of put together, if we think about marketing in general, and you think about your competition all around you, right? And gym owners, you listening, you've got competition all around you. If you offer the same thing as everybody else, what's the next thing that the consumer is going to look for? It's who's the cheapest.
Exactly.
Who's the cheapest place? I'm going to get the same service at every single gym. So the real like big deal here is that you have something, you can create something nobody else can offer. It's your own proprietary spin. and we get into the unique mechanisms and all these things when we talk about marketing, but it's your angle that once somebody sees this and they're already at another gym, they start looking at your stuff and they're like, you know what? The reason I'm not getting results is because they don't have the Momentum program at the gym I'm at. I need to go to that gym to get the Momentum program because that's what I'm missing.
Yeah, I think that's one of the Achilles heels of a lot of gym owners or just in fitness in general. We think we're special. We know, we're safe and progressive we know we're special. But we often don't put ourselves in the consumer's shoes and see what they're seeing, right? They're seeing all the same programs. I mean, Orange Theory is the same as F45, is the same as, all the other ones.
Bunch of people in a room getting sweaty.
It is. And so if you don't put your stake in the ground and say, this is what we do differently. And again, I think it's, part of that Achilles heel that it's not packaged in a journey. So you can't I think we've gotten caught in this, a misstep in the fitness industry is we spew a bunch of motivation, right? And we do 30-day challenges and things. And those may have a place, but it's not systematic and there's not a methodology that takes them from point one, or step one to an end point that you can package, sell, and differentiate from just your fitness memberships.
And you've created this.
Yeah, and that's what's nice is it's an actual systematic
And you've created
journey.
this that you can now sell to different gyms that want to bring this into their.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, so what I hear over and over again in the industry, and I've had the privilege just as editor of PFP Magazine and just kind of having conversations across the industry for so long, is trainer and owner burnout of fitness training is a very real thing. Excuse me. And so if we know that there's a certain longevity, and then as you mature as a coach, you realize your coaching skills need to up level in order to get better compliance, which means better retention, which means longer term revenue, all those other KPI that are so important. But you have to up level your skill set as a coach. And so if you take, but you can't, again, we're not doing it systematically. So the Momentum program takes the emotional intelligence, takes the tools of getting somebody to think differently about exercise, to think differently about food, and puts it in a methodic journey, enjoyable, engaging, coachable journey that parlays with an up-leveled skill of coaching, which is fun for a coach because you can diversify what you're doing. And it's not just, you're not trading time for dollars either as a trainer. You can leverage these types of programs when you're burnt out from being on the training floor.
Okay. So just obviously all the benefits, both the business wins, the end user, the actual person doing the program, the fitness person, and then also the coach. Because if you know, and I know, coaches love to learn. And the fact that, mindset, coaching, call it a certification, call it a licensing or whatever it is, they're going to have a new skill set that they can go deliver to their market and feel good about it.
Right.
And that's really what trainers want. They want to feel good and confident that they're delivering the best that they can. And when something new comes up, they know how to handle that.
Coupled with having a tool to actually deliver it. So,
Sweet, right.
It's one thing to go learn, like you're reading about emotional interviewing and you're reading about, how to coach somebody into behavior change, but without a tool that allows you to just show up as the high level coach you want to be. It gives you a framework. It gives you something to work from versus just either trying to create it on your own, which takes
how long did it take you to create this?
I mean, in essence, it's been 15 years, iteration after iteration after iteration,
Yeah. So you work with all kinds of franchise. You work with, you said Fit Body Boot Camp, I think you said Curves yesterday a little bit. YMCAs,
small boutique one-on-one personal training studios.
How about online trainers?
So I have online trainers. And again, it's a great diversification because they can, again, parlay or, it's just another service. It's a completely new revenue stream.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Just huge, yeah. This is something we've been searching for, and we've been kind of creating it over the last couple of years. Look, fitness is great. But fitness only can get you so far. What are all the other things that are either sabotaging or we can help accelerate your results? It comes down to mindset, nutrition, habits, sleep, all of that stuff. And we've had other people on the show talking about, behavioral changes and psychology and all this stuff. And just like, man, I opened this gym. I wanted to lift weights. Like, what the heck are we doing? We're talking about psychology, but in essence is in today's day and age, one, competition, but two, what the end consumer really needs and really wants. If you want to deliver change to folks, this is the arena you guys got to step into.
And the difference now versus even 5 years ago, the consumer is avidly seeking it out. So calling something a wellness or well-being or habit change, that wasn't even in the vernacular of the consumer 5 years ago. Now it is, they're looking for it. So it's an easier sell today than it was 5 years ago. So it's,
Sure.
if the consumer's looking for it, it's an easier sales conversation. You have it. The competition doesn't. They might have motivating coaches and trainers, but they don't have the tool that with the journey.
The journey is key, because me, you, and Zach were in the office yesterday talking about that. Because if I'm the consumer, if I'm the Mrs. Johnson, we use Mrs. Johnson all the time, and I come in here, and I'm being talked. We discussed goals, what my problems are. We got into the weeds with it, and now here's the solution. If I don't understand what that path looks like, I'm probably not going to sign up because it's not clear to me.
Exactly.
And two, as you go down, like say you do join and then you're in month 1, month 2, like what happens next? Like where do we go from here? All this stuff, and towards the end, right? Like, hey, we got to the end goal, but there's a whole nother path we can go down to. Yeah. That's what gyms are missing.
They're missing. It's such a gap that they're missing. It's we do it in programming. And if you think about fitness programming, right? We know as trainers, right? You program and you have progressions and things, but how do you communicate that to the consumer? But then from the experience standpoint, I'm talking like fitness aside.
Yeah.
When you walk in, that's why the South Beach diet worked so well, because they had remember phase 1, phase 2,
yes.
phase 3. You knew exactly where you were, what the expectations were, what the outcome. Then you go to phase 2, then you go to phase 3. And so it's predictable and tangible for the consumer to not just guess where they're going. So having that start and end point, I always think about in fitness, remember, 10 years ago, it was like muscle confusion.
Yeah, P90X.
Right? Muscle confusion, you need muscle confusion. Well, what does that mean? It's going to be different every day. We need to apply when there's predictability in a journey. The sale becomes easy because then you know where they're going.
Well, it's clarity. Clarity than consumer, right? There's no more confusion. Not muscle confusion.
Not muscle confusion.
Awesome. I mean, really, we've hit the point where, hey, I think fitness just isn't enough anymore to compete in this market. We talk red ocean. We talk everything looks the same. Everybody's sweaty in a room. It's basically a class to the end consumer. If everybody's offering the same thing, it goes down to price. So how does somebody get in touch with you to one, learn more about it, and then, hey, let me bring this in and have you coach me as a gym owner into maybe laying this out in my gym? Absolutely.
So the best way is just to reach out to me. I have, show notes, we can put the web link in there, but schedule a call. What I'll do is based on your business model, how would you integrate a program like that? So if you do one-on-one, if you do coach, if you're a physical, gym versus online, it integrates a little bit differently based on your model. A lot of the tenets, of course, are the same, but how do you integrate it as a signature part of your onboarding, your sales, and then it's all access to customizable, brandable content, workbooks, videos, apps, everything.
It's all done for them.
It's all done. And I coach then not just here's the tool and do it, but diving deep into emotional intelligence. What are the questions you need to ask? We do it in sales. We do it with our staff. It's really the same thing. How do we now apply that to get better results and retention?
Let me circle back 1 second. If somebody were to bring this into their program, is this a marketing play or is this a full-blown, everybody does it in my gym? Or is it, hey, this is a bolt-on for specific types of clients, and it's not like a launch or a challenge. It's just a service offering. What is it exactly?
Can I give the lame answer of it? It depends.
You can.
Well, here's why. So in my gym, where it started was here's an option, right? We have this great program. Current clients, new clients come in. We do it 4 times a year. We did it in a group format.
Okay.
But then it turned into that was the initial signature experience. So you didn't become a member. You couldn't just come in and get a membership.
Until they went through that.
They went through the program, because what it does is it enculturates them. You have the same language. You can then, as a coach, support them better because you go back to the things that they learn in that initial signature program. So I think some of it is just how it evolves into your business. But it can be, but if you do it one-on-one, so any client who comes in on, Monday, January 2nd versus June 4th, you can offer it one-on-one. So a lot of it, I think, is the dynamics of the gyms and your coaches.
Okay. Yeah. And so they'll work with you to do that.
Yeah. Yep.
So you said get a hold of you. Like, what's the link? What's the URL?
Momentum365pro.com.
There you go. And we'll put that in the show notes. Okay. Awesome, Lindsay. We got a lot of work to do today, so we wanted to just get this done. And, listen, what you're doing is great. I think this is a missing link. I think we talked plenty about this. And so you coming from the fitness and gym owner world, building this for yourself and then bringing it out to the masses, it's almost exactly what we did here at ProFit. So I understand the path you're on, which is amazing. So guys, if you're interested in what Lindsay's talking about and bringing a signature program into your gym, reach out to her. Momentum365pro.com. We'll put it in the show notes, guys. That's it for this episode. Until next time, keep changing lives. See you on the next show. Bye. All right. And thank you for listening to that episode of the Built to Grow podcast, where we help gym owners win. Now, do you want to connect with me and other gym owners online? All you need to do is join our private Facebook group, Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. Just head on over to Facebook and type in Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. And when you do, we're going to give you our 10 marketing strategies 7-figure gym owners use to win. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, keep building something great.